In a previous video, Victimhood Trumps Search for Truth, I discussed the 3 different levels of sexual assault and how they are defined under our criminal code. We have 3 levels. Level 1, which is Section 271, Level 2, Section 272, and Level 3, Section 273. 3 different levels, but all lumped under the same term, sexual assault. As you can see here, the definitions vary, and they're not very well organized within our criminal code because they're constantly being changed. So 271 is the least violent of all levels. It is also the least defined, as you can see here. Everyone who commits a sexual assault is guilty of, and then the punishments are listed. If you go to the section of the criminal code that defines assault, section 265, you will see that it covers sexual assault as well as physical assault. And the criteria for this charge are as follows. Without the consent of another person, he applies force intentionally to that other person, directly or indirectly. He attempts or threatens by an act or a gesture to apply force to another person if he has or causes that other person to believe on reasonable grounds that he has present ability to effect his purpose, or while openly wearing or carrying a weapon or an imitation thereof, he accosts or impedes another person or begs. Okay, so basically these are different criteria that can constitute as a assault charge. And as you can see in B, the fact that the other person believes on reasonable grounds can also equal the term reasonable belief, which means that the person who's claiming they were assaulted or sexually assaulted only needs to have reasonable belief that they were harmed indirectly or indirectly forced, without consent, whatever. There's no specific application of bodily harm under reasonable belief. Okay, so we'll keep this all in mind as we move forward. So let's start with level 3, the most defined and severe violation of all 3 levels. The statistics are shown here, and I got them from Stats Canada or Statistics Canada website, and I created this table based on data that was available to me, and I just whittled it down to 2 important statistics: actual incidents and total persons charged. So here we're looking at the level 3 aggravated assault statistics: 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. So that's 5 years worth of statistics. I will be focusing on the previous year, which is 2014. So the math I did is 65 charged divided by 105 incidents equals a 62% charge rate. Therefore, 38% of the claims are either deemed unfounded, false, or not connected to a perpetrator within this reporting year. In conclusion, it is difficult to determine the actual rate of false accusation at this stage without data that specifies why no charges were laid or what type of evidence prompted the charge. The next step to analyze a closer representation of false accusation would be the court case data. And the assumptions that I use in determining this 62% charge rate include the following. Each incident represents 1 report to police. Each person charged represents 1 incident. Not all alleged perpetrators are found within the reporting year. And a charge can represent a confession of guilt or claim of innocence to the police. Also of note regarding these statistics is the fact that the national rate of incidents are extremely low and on the decline. 105 incidents across all of Canada for 1 year of this type of sexual assault is a very low number. Moving on to level 2 sexual assault, weapon or bodily harm. This one is the second most defined and severe violation of the 3. The math here, again, for the year 2014, is 221 charges, the math here is 221 charged divided by 319 incidents equals a 69% charge rate. Therefore, 31% of claims are either deemed unfounded, false, or not connected to a perp within this reporting year. Conclusion. It is difficult to determine the actual rate of false accusation at this stage without data that specifies why no charges were laid or what type of evidence prompted the charge. The next step to analyze a closer representation of false accusation would be the court case data. Again, here the assumptions are all the same as they were in the last slide. Each incident represents one report to police. Each person charged represents one incident. Not all alleged perpetrators are found within the reporting year, and a charge can represent a confession of guilt or claim of innocence to police. And of note, this national rate of incidents are very low and on the decline. They're not as low as level 3, but they are still very low. 319 incidents, alleged incidents across the nation is still a very low number for 1 year. Of course, it's not a good number. We would all love to see 0, but nonetheless, crimes happen, assaults happen, but it's good to see that it's still a very low number considering we have a population of about 35 million people. And here is level 1, where everything drastically changes. Level 1, reasonable belief. It is the least defined and most broad violation. Again, the math. 7,688 charged divided by 20,311 incidents equals 38% charge rate. Therefore, 62% of claims are either deemed unfounded, false, or not connected to a perp within this reporting year. The conclusion here is that the bar is set the lowest with level 1 for sufficient evidence to lay a charge, with reasonable belief being the minimum determining factor to lay a charge. Court case data would be the next step to determine the level of belief held by the courts. This charge is where issues of consent and historical sexual abuse flourish. The assumptions here, again, are all the same as the previous slides. And of note, the national rate of incidents are extremely high relative to levels 2 and 3, although this rate is in slight decline, as you can see from previous years. To sum up all 3 of these levels of sexual assault, each one constitutes of a fraction of a percentage of our population. Keep that in mind. So to sum everything up, I've laid it all out simply here. Level 1, reasonable belief, least defined and most broad violation, equals 38% of the charge rate. 7,311 persons charged. Level 2, weapon, bodily harm, the second most defined and severe violation. 69% charge rate, 221 persons charged. Level 3, aggravated sexual assault, the most defined and severe violation. 62% charge rate, 66 persons charged. Now, if we do a little bit of more math, we can average out the total percentage of the charge rate for all sexual assaults. And by doing that, it's really simple. We take the 3 separate charge rates, divide it by 3, we add them together and then divide them by 3, and we get a result of 56% average charge rate. So the question is, how many of that 56%, are innocent people being prosecuted and wrongfully convicted? The overall conclusion here is that considering a disproportionately large amount of charges are laid on the dubious basis of reasonable belief, the amount of false, unproven accusations carried through to prosecution can safely be loosely assumed a large percentage, larger than the range of 1 to 10%, which are guesses made by feminists, women's rights advocates, politicians, and other misinformed souls. I will, in a future video, move on and take these numbers into the court case outcomes and examine those together. In the meantime, I would recommend you go back and watch my previous video called Canada's Criminal Code Enables Flawed Sex Crime Stereotypes. This video discusses all of the roadblocks a man would face when trying to prove that his accuser is either lying or is under the influence of some other external person, or has had false memories implanted into their minds by a therapist. There could be other reasons why they would be lying, and basically the feminists have created a series of stereotypes which are now embedded in our laws, or at least there are protections embedded in our laws that prevent a defense from digging up dirt on the accuser to prove that he's innocent. So keeping all of these statistics in mind that I just explained, along with the stereotypes that the feminists have perpetuated through our criminal code, it creates a very alarming picture of how easy it is to make an accusation, press charges, prosecute a man, and have him sent to jail when he didn't do anything. Okay, thank you again for watching. Bye.